Does your significant other support your dreams?
Part 2.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Shut Up and Work podcast. I am your host, the coach, and along with me is SJ. And this is part 2 of our segment called Do You Have Support from Your Significant Other? So sit back, enjoy, and listen.
And I got it to a point, you know, would I like to have built it even more? Sure. Oh, much so. But again, because of the situation, like you said, uh, with me having to work another job and having to stay, and as I mentioned earlier, not able to put the full time and concentration in it. I mean, I tell myself almost every day that, damn, I could have built this thing 5 times as much better had I had the time. And when I was a little bit younger, that energy, if I had the time to focus fully on it, I could have made this thing even better. It could have popped. I probably wouldn't be talking on this microphone. I would probably be traveling to conventions, explaining my success. If you get what I'm saying. So everything that I done so far or was able to accomplish has been a one thing. It has been a focus on the one thing. So, for example, when I was doing my book, I stopped podcasting. I wasn't podcasting anymore. I wasn't doing all these other things. I was focused on doing the book.
But
The
at the
book-
same time, you supported yourself. You weren't
right,
looking to anybody else to support you and take care of you.
right, because I wasn't married, I wasn't in a relationship, and as a matter of fact, whatever little relationships that came along, I basically flopped on my face, fell on my face of it because I was trying to focus on trying to build this. Therefore, not being, uh, what's the word? Not being involved, uh, um, you know,
Not
with
being able to split your focus between your project and your goals and another person.
exactly. So I had relationships. I lost a lot of relationships. I've even damaged relationships in my own immediate family with siblings, that now I'm trying to go back and repair and explain, because as you said, SJ, this comes up all the time for me, this question that people don't understand. I lost a lot of friendships, relationships with other women and stuff who may have showed interest in me, but it was like at that time I was so focused, and again, I wasn't able to multitask. I wasn't able to say, let me turn this off for an hour and go be with this person and turn this on. Let me
When
go.
you were writing your book, were
Yes.
you working a full-time or a part-time job? Or were you already retired from the corporate grinds?
When I focused on writing the book, I had retired from the corporate grind. I had just finished retiring.
So
And then
you weren't working anywhere for a paycheck.
correct. Well, I had my small business. I had that, but that was
Mhm.
it. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Okay.
And the same, and again, I want to go back to the example of when I started podcasting. Okay, I was still trying to build a small business. I was still trying to work full time, and then I started the sports podcast. And then I figured out. I said, "Hey, nah, man, I'm gonna have to let this podcasting go because there's no way I could do the things like we are doing now. I couldn't put that time, I couldn't put that energy and stuff into it. And as I told you, offline, it failed. It failed miserably. You could tell because my mindset is, well, what about this? Or I got to go work on this, or I got to go to work and work on that. So, the the small business that I was able to get where I got, it took me longer than it should. It took me double the time that it should not have taken, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Okay, so keep
Yes.
going with your rebuttals. Keep going.
Um, that's all I can think of. That's all I can think of for right
Mhm.
now. I think that we are just having a little bit of, I think that we're seeing each other's points,
Yeah.
but that there's still like just a little gap in communication because from what you're telling me, I
Hmm.
still feel like you were multitasking, maybe not at the highest level, but
Right.
you still had. Now, I will admit I was wrong. I thought that you were still clocking in, working a job, whether it was a full-time job or a part-time job, while you were writing your book. I didn't
No, no,
realize
no, no,
that
no. I would have
that
failed.
you weren't working for anybody while you did that.
Right. I
But
would have failed miserably. I'm not trying to say my book is perfect, but Lord have mercy, y'all would have been like, "What in the effort?" But and again, I'm totally admitting, SJ. I'm totally admitting. I'm telling people, you don't want me to multitask. You, oh my God. And this is one of the reasons for the listeners out there why the coach had to leave the job. Because as I talked about in the previous podcast, they wanted me, all these things that entailed in my job, they wanted me to be here and be at this other place and then do this and then give this briefing and teach this course in fall protection and do all this shit here. No, no. And my evaluation suffered because there was a lot of stuff that I had to tell my boss, no, I'm not doing all that. I can't do this. You gonna have to come down here and teach this course while I go and inspect. I can't do, that was one of the arguments that me and him had. And he's a man, is that no, I'm not doing four things at once because it's gonna look like shit and it's going to be a failure, a total flop. And that's why I made that statement. What do you want me to do? You want me to cut myself in fours so I can get this done? But that again, it may sound like, I'm trying to be biological or say it's a biological thing, but I see y'all do it all the time. And I will give women the championship belt because I've seen it. I've seen it in my mom. I've seen it in my aunts. I've seen it in my grandmothers. I've seen it with my sisters. I've seen it. There are a lot of things that would make me fly off the handle. I'll be like, what the hell? Whoa, 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 stop. That's me. I will have a fit and I will say, hey, one thing at a time, one thing at a time. I'm not doing all this stuff. If you want to see the coach lose his mind and start going in a frenzy, start trying to get me to multitask something. I will get to yelling and cussing people out and be like, hey, I ain't doing this shit and da da da. Yeah, you will get on my bad side real quick. But yeah, I see your point, and as you're saying, SJ, and and just for people out there, look, I'm on your side on points like that because getting back to the guys who were, driving their girlfriend's car or something like that. I am, and it just may be the way that I was raised because the men in my family were strong, and my dad is the type of person that if he would have found out that I'm driving some girl's car to school, or some girl let me borrow a car, you know, I would have got an ass whooping no matter how old I was. That's just the way the men that I was raised around, that's just the way they act. So for me, yes, that is a no-no. That's just a plain, simple out no-no. And if a strong figure had raised that guy, yeah, okay, he did great going to college and probably studying the major, but he hasn't learned the responsibility because, again, as I said in the other podcast, as a man, you got to learn how to provide. You got to be the one to preach and teach to your family, and you got to be the one that's the protector. So go ahead, SJ. I'm sorry.
So this is interesting. This is opening my eyes to a couple of things.
Mhm,
I'm appreciating this exchange. I guess it's just like I said, it's a point of contention. It's something that's frustrating to me because again, it's
mhm,
not really that women want to do these things or that we're better at doing these things. It's just that it's necessary, and it seems like it's very easy or comfortable, probably because of what you said. I do see a trend where a lot of young men are being raised by predominantly women. And so, they don't necessarily teach them things that they might learn if they were being raised by a man or a father figure.
mhm.
But again, likewise, same thing with the women. A
Yes,
lot of women are also being raised by predominantly women, so
yes,
they don't necessarily have a man in their life to teach them the things that a man would teach them as well. And the
exactly.
issue isn't really a matter of, again, the driving the cars was just an example. And maybe now that I'm looking back on it, maybe that was a poor example. My point was more along the lines of, I see a lot that women are going to do whatever they have to do in
Right.
order to get the job done. And I don't
Agree.
see that same hustle within the male population. I see the male
Agree.
population kind of say, oh, well, I tried to do it, but there were these obstacles and these obstacles and these
Mhm.
obstacles. And so they're kind of okay with, giving up or settling for something else.
Yes.
Whereas,
Yep.
again, this is a luxury. A lot of times the women don't have that luxury. I don't know a whole lot of guys who have worked multiple jobs in order to get to where they need to be, or going to school and worked a job at the same time concurrently, like
Mhm,
I do with the women. And that's a little frustrating because basically every individual person is going to push as much as they need to push. They're going to do, the maximum that they can do to get what they want. And it's a matter of what you want and finding a way to get that. And you may have to do that several times. I mean, maybe because I don't have that invention, I don't have that within me. I'm not an inventor.
mhm,
So I can't imagine that would be miserable for me. We have our own individual characteristics, whether we're male or female or non-binary.
mhm.
We have our own personal characteristics that we're good at some things, we lack in others. We may need to work on things and develop things more so that we can be successful. I
Yeah.
just want to see there be a bit more of a bridge in that gap when it comes to this situation.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that part. I definitely agree because I say the same thing. And like I said in the last segment, that's the reason why I was not mad at this young lady. And you are totally right. I mean, it pisses me off sometimes because for the people out there, don't get offended. Don't think that the coach is, oh my God, he's toxic masculinity. But it pisses me off more as a hurt when I see that. And and what I'm talking about is a young man, especially if he's coming in his teenage years and it's like, oh well, I'm with my mom. And for some instances, it's not always a Pookie and Ray Ray thing. Something may have happened to the dad. Something may have God forbid happened to the dad perished and things in that nature. But and I'm also not saying, I want to be clear that you can't develop into a young man, a good provider, preacher, and a protector. I'm not saying that either, because there's been young men who have went out there and went on and be successful and became a successful father and things in that nature, even though they may not have been raised by a male. But in that case, I mean, and again, I don't want to beat it to death, but it's like yeah, I would be highly pissed off if I found out I had a son, and even if he was going to class or whatever, trying to do the right thing, but he's driving his girlfriend's car. Yeah, I'd be wanting to kill him. I'm serious. I'm just being honest. I mean, I'm over here right now, like squeezing the blood out of my fingertips, trying not to say something, that's very what people call today is toxic masculinity. But yeah, I would beat his ass. I wouldn't care if he was 19, 20, 21 years old and going to college. Yeah, I would have to hurt him, in that situation, because I will feel like I didn't get my point across as a father in teaching him. And then to the women, what I want to say to young women, I see they're hurt. Now, yeah, you've heard the coach say multiple times, "Oh yeah, uh, that's because the mother chose a Pookie or a Ray Ray, this and that, or whatever in that situation." But how do you expect a young woman to respect a man in a relationship or have trust in a man when their dad was either in and out of their lives, or their dad was never around to protect him in certain situations and things like this? You understand what I'm saying? So they never had that example of a male role model who's providing those three P's in that situation. So how would you expect her to pick the correct guy, I guess you could say, as the general population talks about? Because if you never seen that, then hell, you don't know. You don't know that I was gonna throw his name out there, but I'm not. You don't know that a certain rapper may have 20 kids by 18 different women. You
Well,
understand?
that you should know. That
Yeah.
you should
And I
definitely know.
but again, I can't blame all women and say, "Oh my God, you do this, you do this." You know, my family members, I could blame them because it's like, hey, you had your damn daddy in your house, and your daddy whooped ass just like my daddy whooped ass. And hell, my daddy will whoop your ass when you came over here and cut up, or if he caught you doing something or acting a fool or whatever. So, the whole point of this thing is, you're right. The black community, because that family dynamic, or what is it called now? Nuclear family. I guess I better use that word nowadays. The nuclear family has been destroyed. It's been destroyed on both ends. And I'm not going to blame all black men, and I'm not going to blame all black women on that.
No, actually, I agree with you. That is a matter of systemic racism. That was not an accident. That
Mhm.
was very intentional.
Right.
So that is true.
Yeah. And it's, but again, I got to give y'all, and I know a lot of guys probably call this simping or whatever, but the truth is the truth. Yeah, I got to give y'all that championship belt. Y'all hold the title until until men as a whole can prove different, that we are great multitaskers. But I think from what I know, and from the other guys my age or near my age, what I know, we're horrible. We're horrible. I mean, do you know? I mean, right now, if you see my office now, I got sticky notes all over the damn place. I got to write stuff down. And you seen me in person when we're discussing something, even about this podcast. I have to write that shit down, because soon as my ass get up, it won't even 2 minutes won't even go by. I'll totally be like, what? What were we discussing again? I can't even remember a simple task.
Coach, you're funny, but you're not giving yourself enough credit. It doesn't matter how messy it was or how much it wasn't cute. The point is that you get there, you accomplish the goal.
Yeah.
Because nobody's course looks beautiful on the
Right.
way to accomplishing a goal. There's a lot of bumps, bruises, failures, getting up and just starting over again.
Mhm.
But the bottom line is, did you do it?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
there was a, and I don't want nobody getting offended. Don't you yokels or you ignorants come to our channel and start leaving nasty comments. Because this was a joke. There used to be a joke in the military, I know, in the Air Force, which I was in. We used to say, and it went to something, I don't remember the whole thing, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it was something to the matter of, if the generals had to multitask through a war, America would have been taken over years ago.
That's not so bad.
No, it's bad. It's kind of funny because it was like, if, if
I
our
thought you were gonna say something crazy.
no, well, because at the time, most of the time, that is slowly changing that dynamic. But during that time, 20 something years ago, who were most of the head generals that worked at the Pentagon? They were males,
Yeah.
and the question was, you know, if we had to fight on multiple front where it required multitasking, it was like, well, I guess they were basically saying that America is going to get invaded and taken over. So, but you ignorants out there that watch Fox News or whatever, eating your goddamn mayonnaise sandwich, don't you dare come to our channel and start. That
Okay,
is
so
true."
now you're getting crazy with it.
Yeah. Some bitch, you a traitor, you know. But yeah, so no, that is a thing, and I think it's great points that you brought up, SJ, because like you said, it's not that it's not happening. I see it too. I see exactly what you're talking about. And it pisses me off, because it's like, what the F? And even some guys, I'm probably finna strike another chord here, is I'll put it this way. There are some guys, and I hate to generalize because these are just most of my friends that I hang out and talk to with. And I think you heard me say this offline, SJ. Now, they may have a job. You may tell them to try to start a business or try to start an investment portfolio, whatever. They may not be interested in that. But however, if you say, well, shit, let's work and then let's go out to the bar and let's go party or let's go do this. Yeah. Now that shit, that multitasking might kick in a little bit for some men. So sorry, fellas, I had to throw you under the bus on that because that's even pissed me off because it's like, hey, let's do this. Let's do a compilation. Let's work together. Let's see if we can build this. Oh, no, you're crazy. Da, 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 da. And maybe that would have also helped me get to where I needed to go. But at the same time, on the other hand, oh man, you want to go have a drink? You want to go do this? Oh man, let's go here on Wednesday night. Well, I got work in the morning. Oh man, you could get up. You was in the military before. You can wake up early still after drinking. It's like, hell no, I can't.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I
But I'm
mean,
sorry.
I definitely am somebody that believes in balance, but we'll talk about that another day.
Oh, that's a good
What
one
were you
too.
saying, Coach?
Oh, I was gonna say, was I on track or did I just go off the whole damn freeway? I took
No, you were entirely on track. I was multitasking. Please forgive me. While you were talking, I was looking up a quote that I saw recently
Mhm.
posted by one of my lawyer friends. It's a quote from Malcolm X, and it's about patriotism when you're talking about the trolls that might come for us. And
Yeah,
it just says this: remember, you're not supposed to be so blind with patriotism that you can't face reality. Wrong is wrong, no matter who does it or says it.
that's right. Love that. Love that brother. He was
Yes.
so inspiring. And what he was saying, and so truthful. So true.
Yes.
A lot of stuff that he's saying is so true in today's time. So
Absolutely.
yeah. But no, no, I think it was great, and it's always to have these disputes and disagreements, and like I said, I respect.
Discussions.
Yeah, I respect what you have seen and what you have experienced. I respect that, and I can't disagree with what you have seen. I mean, yeah, I can give some pushback to what I've seen and my experiences, but as you said, I do agree, and yeah, that got under my skin because I do see that, and I remember even when I had graduated high school and started working before I joined the military, I would see guys that I went to school with, and they're riding around in their girl's car all day, having a joint, smoking a joint, or drinking 40s. And they pull up on me, in this nice air conditioned ride, and
While you're waiting at the bus stop to get to work, right?
or waiting on somebody to pick me up, or my little hoopty, hoping that it crank up, so I don't have to walk home,
Mhm.
you know. And I'm just like, God damn, this motherfucker living the life, got a full tank of gas, riding around all day, going wherever the hell he want to go. Ugh. Yeah. That got under my skin a little bit.
It's not a good look.
No, it's not. It's not. And it used to just piss me the F off, man. So I would just say that. I'm like, here I am busting my ass. Motherfucker, you riding around, shirt all pressed and ironed, and you know what I'm saying, just having fun. And I'm working like a dog, getting yelled at by the boss and shit, getting all pissed off. Yeah. Anyway,
And for the record, no, SJ has not ever let a dude ride her car.
well, that's good. That's good because I was gonna kick you off this podcast if you was. No, I'm just joking.
No, sir. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes anybody that I'm involved with, whether you're my friends, my boyfriend, etc., I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to support you and I'm going to encourage you. And there are different ways to do that, but I just really feel like as adults individually, one day we'll talk about the whole independent woman thing. I can't get started with that because this podcast is already long enough.
Yeah.
But again, to be a contributing member of society, to be a self-sufficient adult, that
Mhm.
should be the norm for everybody. Now, there are exceptions to this. People absolutely fall on hard times. I don't think I'm going to share my struggle period with y'all because it was so bad. I'll think about it.
Okay.
My close friends know, and they saw me and they were there for me, but I had a horrible struggle period. And the things that I had to do after I had already accomplished so much to rebuild, you know, I was already humble. To say that it was humbling is not even accurate. It was just painful.
Mhm.
But we'll see. Maybe I'll share that story one day. Maybe not. The point is, what is it that you want to be? Who do you want to be? What type of person, what type of human do you want to be? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Now that I got deep real quick, good night.
All right. All right. And let me say this to all the dudes out there. Just a message from the coach. Don't ever your job, be a man. Don't ever, or try not to, do your best. I understand in emergency situations or temporary situations. And when I say temporary, I mean like 3 months or less. Don't ever just put all your responsibilities on the woman. Okay. And be a man and stand up. And like I said, I understand emergencies happens, things have happened to me, but stand up, do what you have to do. And then for the women out there, don't you dare, if a man is down, let him pick himself up. It's okay to help build him up, motivate him, but let him pick himself up.
Don't carry him, I think is the thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Just don't carry him.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I understand emergency things. You may have to temporarily say, okay, hey, I got us, hey, till you get back on your feet. Those things I understand. But as long as he's making an effort to get back to maybe where he was, then that I understand. But if this SOB, he ain't been to jail. He want to work at Wendy's and think, hey, this is great. I made it. Then your ass need to move on. And you need to be like, hey, no, maybe they need to make a rap song or a rap slogan, no inspiration, no bucking, if y'all know what I mean. You know,
You know what? I would even give them credit if they would get a job at Wendy's, because that's honest work. But a lot of times they're not even getting up off the sofa, getting up off the stairs on the porch to get a job. It's playing the video games, it's hanging out,
right,
it's ready to go get a drink and ready to go smoke, but
right,
not ready to go out and do anything.
right. And if you I'm talking to you women as an uncle now. I think I'm old enough to be an uncle or the coach. If the guy is still living with his mom, and again, if it's not something where, hey, he had a house, a damn tornado came and blew it away, he waiting on the insurance claim, whatever. If the guy's still living at home with his mom and the mom's still talking to him as if he was 12 years old or whatever, no, that's a siren light. Go. Don't hang around. So anyway, I think we rambled long enough on this, and we could probably keep going for days and days and days.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, but with that being said, thank you everybody. As usual, please subscribe, share, like, comment for our podcast channel if you like it. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to the Shut Up and Work podcast, and we will see you next time. Take care.